Hello and welcome to this episode of Rethink India Masterclass, starting from Karimnagar in Telangana with Sir Sanjay Bhattacharya. We moved on to our own national capital, Delhi, with Madam Neeta Arora of St. Venkateshwara International School. Uh, and then we had a lovely interaction from GPS, Greater Faridabad, Madam Surjit Khanna. Today we are having a very privileged educator and the principal of St. John's High School, Chandigarh, Madam Kavita C. Das, in today's masterclass. Today happens to be the World Environment Day, and the city of Chandigarh, the creation of Le Corbusier, the French architect, the city of Chandigarh, located in the foothills of Shivalik, is certainly insignia of India's environmental considerations and concerns. So, what a lovely coincidence that we are having such a masterclass with Madam Kavita C. Das. Welcome you, ma'am, to this masterclass session. And before we proceed further, Madam is a doyen academician whose educational footprint started in 1985, a prolific 25-year career where she had been pressing English and value education phenomenally, and to her own volition. She says that value education is quite the tougher part. She leads an institution which says, which puts compassion in action. And I just glanced through a very lovely message and which summarizes the entire spirit of the persona of Madam Das and probably the institutions she has been serving. The magical moments of affirmative transformation. I think this is something which we need today to fight the new normal, the gloomy and the gloomy situation. It doesn't feel like, but I would like to literally read that, Madam, with your permission, and I would just screen share to just share it with our readers that this is the kind of philosophy which drives Madam Das, and our entire discourse further will be based in this backdrop. So I will be just doing the screen sharing, and I will be just reading it aloud a bit. So this is what a lovely message, a very phenomenal message which you rarely come through. Magical moments of affirmative transformation. Where do I begin? The year has gone by in a blur. Activities galore, some new and some part of our annual calendar. Laughter, tears, uncertainty, puzzlement, delight, sorrow, glee, despair. We have seen the whole gamut of emotions, and each time we have seen a sad face transform into a joyous one. We know we have done something right yet again, and we have celebrated. Have you ever been privy to such magical moments in time? When a little boy rises out of the ashes of a perceived agonizing injustice and metamorphoses into a triumphant phoenix, when he finds order restored and his dignity re-established in his microcosmic universe. Trust me, if you haven't, then you have missed out on a miracle. For those of us who are too busy to stop the clock and bear witness to such epiphanies, we are poorer for it. We have lost out on the laying of yet one more firm brick in the foundation of our society. A tiny part of the ocean of moments that help our children awake to the realization that justice can prevail and that there is thus hope for our world. What appears to be small and irrelevant suddenly takes on new significance as we begin to comprehend that it is these little ones with their little triumphs which affirm them who will be the harbingers of a better future. Small beginnings that will grow into the magnificent rainbows of tomorrow. Now do you understand why we take pride in what we do? We start with masterclass with these magical moments of affirmative transformation. Madam, uh, uh, what more you have to add upon it? How you are bringing this in action at St. John's?
I think it stems from actually the founder of our Christian Brothers schools. We are an organization that actually spans the globe, and we have more than 400 schools worldwide. It was founded by a man who committed himself to God. He was a very rich businessman. He lost his wife, and his little daughter was handicapped. She was a special child. So he was agonizing over this, terrible tragedy in his life. And he was praying when God told him that, what are you doing? You have so much. What are you doing about those who have nothing? And that transformed this man's life. And he gave up everything. And then when I'm saying he was rich, he was rich. He gave up everything he had, and he started a school in a little stable in Ireland.
Okay.
He took the street children in, and they were so difficult that initially all his helpers ran away. But others came in who believed in his vision, and slowly he was able to establish numerous schools from scratch. He never used his own wealth. He gave it away. He depended on others and on God's provision. And now, because of one man's vision and faith and spirituality, we have schools which have given opportunities to children across the globe. We are very fortunate to be one small part of this.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a wonderful motto, which in Latin says, Pro Dio et Patria. It translates into for God and country.
Mm-hmm.
And we truly believe that. We believe at the heart of everything that happens, we have to keep our spirituality intact and alive, because from there comes all our source of hope and energy and the little miracles we see every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's all God's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we also believe that education is not about academics alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what a country needs, just people who are academically inclined. We need good human beings. We need citizens who will make our country great. So we work towards that in a very big way in everything we do, including academics. So if you were to look at our academics, it's not only teaching of the subject. Every single lesson is planned, keeping in mind the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. They're tied in consciously. We consciously bring in the UN human rights and child rights. We consciously bring in the constitutional duties as enshrined in our Constitution of India, because we believe that if we simply talk privilege and rights and we don't talk duties, nobody's going to do anything substantial. They're only going to be busy fighting for their rights. But on the other hand, if everybody was to perform their duties, automatically the rights would fall into place. Wouldn't you agree? So it's that simple logic we work with, and we tie it into every single subject that is planned. It doesn't matter what subject it is. Even in mathematics, it will be there. So that at all times, education is being tied to values. It's being tied to helping children to become better people. It's being tied into showing them how relevant what they are learning is in their world around them. It is not just theory. We help them to put it into practice, to do interdisciplinary planning so that they can see how it is related to other subjects as well. And it's not an isolated theory in a vacuum, which has no application in their lives or elsewhere. So all this makes education much more interesting, I feel, than if you simply just teach a subject, right? And the teachers also, as a result, are much more aware, much more alert, very creative. I am really, really blessed with my staff and with my management. And I would be remiss if I did not thank them for everything that they do. They are fully on board with all our dreams, all our aspirations, and they work really hard because of it. So as a result, during this lockdown period, every subject, every chapter, they have created these brilliant PowerPoints, which have a lot of creativity in them, links embedded to different videos, which will make the concepts come alive. And so that if a child is not able to attend any class, they have this to fall back on, right? We CWS and children, EWS children.
What you have put up on the portal of that compassion is truly in action. It is driving each and every member at St. John's just to empower other children. This is quite a lovely stuff. You have always been advocating and talking that education has no option but to keep up with the changes. So how St. John's
Yes.
embarked upon this transformational journey officially, which was from 25th of March, the entire lockdown, official lockdown period. The schools were shut down much before that. So how St. John's coped up with this changing scenario?
Actually, very easily. It's not been an impossible task because, as I said, I'm blessed with great staff. So they rose to the challenge. Not all of them are, technically equipped. Neither am I, for that matter. It's been a huge learning curve for me as well. But it's the positivity that everybody had and the will to make it happen that made it all possible. So we have been absolutely in the thick of things before. Even in the last week of March, we had started everything. We had started our e-classes, we had got our PowerPoints ready to send out, we had set up communications with parents, with children, we had ensured. Even my EWS children, who are my economically weaker section children, I have about 300 of them in our school. So we had set up, some of them don't have these links. So our teachers, I'll just digress a bit. We have a very unique system in our school, which is called the foster parent program, where every teacher has assumed responsibility as a foster parent for 2 or 3 of the children, the EWS children. So they have taken a very special interest in their kids, and they have been calling them up. And where we haven't been able to have e-classes with them, they've either WhatsApped them the information. Sometimes they've actually conducted classes over the telephone, right, to make sure that their kids are up to date with what is happening. And they've been working really, really hard with our children. So we have explored every avenue. For our CWSN children, we have ensured that modified worksheets have gone out for them so that they are able also to cope with the education, and they aren't feeling that they are, abandoned, or how do they cope with the levels of the other children. They have to have special programs, special worksheets. Those are also going out for these children. So as I said, compassion is at the heart of everything, thinking of every child and his needs, right? If a child is in trouble, we've had counselors calling up. The class teachers are calling up. The foster parents are calling up. And there is a full program in place where every counselor has an allotted number of children whom they are calling up every day to ensure their mental, emotional, and spiritual stability. So it's been challenging, but it's been fun, and we've done it. I'm very proud of the fact that we've done it. I mean, even our art teachers,
you're showing it all,
value education.
Absolutely, ma'am. You have achieved the true purpose of education. When you
well, even I was saying, our art teachers, our PT teachers, our value education teachers, our life skill counselors, all made PPTs and sent them out. All are taking classes, and there's a lot of activity being thrown at our children so that they have fun while they're learning, and it's not purely academics. That's so boring.
So the educational engagement has risen, or it has been you have been able to maintain the same level of engagement?
I think it's higher.
It's high.
Because, yes, because, the teachers are observing every child. Parents are also there in the background. So we've been able to reach beyond our children to our parents as well through these e-classes. And any child who we perceive that there's some issue is immediately being called up, and we're checking on the child. Are you okay? You are looking very happy in the classroom. Is something bothering you? Was somebody bullying you? And sending comments during the class. How boys, I have 2,000 boys. So you can imagine the mischief in my school at any given time. But if you love boys, if you give them justice, you can hang them upside down from the fan. They don't care. They're just happy kids. But they need to know that you love them.
How has been the role of parents in the education? Have you seen in these 70, 80 odd days? In what all
Absolutely. I mean, yes, our parents have been, they've come up trumps in this. They've been there initially to make sure that their children are signing in. If there's any problem, they've been contacting the teachers, and the teachers have been actually walking them through to ensure that every child is able to connect comfortably. They are sitting over there and checking in on their kids, and they're telling us we're learning a lot which we didn't know about because we're sitting in and listening to a lot of the classes. So it's been phenomenal. Their involvement in it can't be possible when children are at home if parents don't cooperate. But as I said, we are not only blessed with our staff, we have these fabulous parents, and they have been on board and they have joined us more than 100%. So we have not had any issues, and we have been very fortunate in being able to interact with our parents. If they have a problem, they either call or they email the school, and we're very prompt about responding and attending to all issues, so that parents also feel that the school is engaged with their concerns and is worried about them as well, not just their kids.
How was this entire technological ecosystem was woven? Was it all out of the school itself, or you had an external assistance?
No, entirely out of the school.
Okay.
Entirely. I have this wonderful computer personnel. We have teachers who are amazing and who have stepped in. In fact, one of our main people who's been helping us is a physics teacher from our senior secondary school who's been our advisor. So, he's been taking the classes with the teachers and helping them to understand how to use the technology so that they are comfortable with it, and they can call him even at midnight and he's available. So like I said, very blessed with our staff.
So the technological challenge layer has, I think, obliterated. It's like now it's quite a day-to-day usage pattern.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to rise to a challenge. You have to see something for what you can gain from it. There's always, two sides to a coin. You can either look at it as, oh my God, what am I doing? What's happening? This is terrible. And you just go into a downward spiral where there is nothing to be gained. Or you work at creating positivity, you work at keeping your creativity alive, you work at keeping your values alive, the compassion alive. So, that's a big challenge. It's not so much the technology that worried us. It was, how do we keep our children alive as people? So we did funny things. We did, okay, let's have for our Founders Day, we said, let's dedicate our Founders Day to thank you to all COVID warriors. So the children made cards and the staff, and they handed it out, and they took photographs and sent it to us, and we put it on our website. So if you go there, you will find a whole album which says, thank you to COVID warriors. There were videos also put up for the same. Now that finished, next step, what do we do? So we said, okay, acts of kindness. So any act of kindness that the children or staff did was sent in, and it's again put up in a separate album. Any creativity is put up in the art gallery. So you see, children also and teachers, they need to be recognized. They need to be appreciated for what they're doing. These are the little ways that the school can appreciate what they have done, and to keep that goodness alive in people, that positivity alive. So that's the little ways we have worked at it. For Founders Day, we made funny videos. I mean, all the teachers sent in pictures of themselves in the most ridiculous poses. And we created a whole video on it and sent it out to our children and said, have a look at your teachers in another light. You're too used to them being very prim and proper. Now see the madness behind the mask. You have to do things differently.
That's really encouraging, ma'am. One of the things which we are trying to recognize through these masterclasses, one of the, I would say, the hidden COVID warriors are our educators, because they are the ones who have kept the morals high and hope for the future. What kind of, I would say, the challenges which you probably faced in coming out of this initial phase of lockdown? It was all of a sudden, just at a 4-hour kind of a notice, the entire country was shut down. And uncertainty, it was so much of changes coming through. So what was the role of the educators in keeping up the hopes and high?
It was of building a sense of fearlessness, a sense that we are not going to give in. The human spirit is much stronger than this. What is this? It will pass. This too shall pass. So building that spirit in our staff and in our students and in our parents was a lot of work. We had to, work slowly and carefully, because when you're introducing new technology, when you're introducing new software, not everybody has the ability to grasp it immediately. So we had to work very slowly, very carefully, with a lot of encouragement. If you mess up, it doesn't matter. We are human. We're going to make mistakes and we'll grow from there, right? So don't worry. The main fear, if I mess up, I think good for you. You're human. It doesn't matter. Come on. We learn and we'll just carry on from here. So of course we had some messes happening here and there, but that's life. And I think the main thing is to let people know it's okay to make mistakes. It makes you a better person. You are not perfect. You're not God. So don't try to be. Be yourself. Have fun doing it. And if you have a problem, talk to us. We're here for you. Our counselors were available. My coordinators were available. Their peers were available. I was available. And we still have some children, some staff members who are facing tensions over the shutdown because they're isolated. So, we are making sure we're keeping in touch with them. We are encouraging them. We're taking them along. They
So
are a
again,
family.
Again, this value of fearlessness accrues from that indomitable compassion in action. I think
Yes.
you were
That
compassionate.
has to be at the heart of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we fail as educators if we do not give our children, our parents, and our staff a heart.
Mm-hmm.
That is what a country needs ultimately. It is not anger, it is not misunderstandings, it is not injustice, it is not divisiveness. It is the ability to love and to forgive that will heal and get us past all this, right? And that's what we have to build up in our children. Look
really,
beyond.
It's really worth adulating, ma'am. This is really, the spirit of India, which is, we say, the country which has nurtured so many civilizations, religions, in times across, and the spirit of our country is compassion. I feel that, and you have nurtured it in your students, in your children in such a major way. And I can see it from the radiance on your face that you're doing it so brilliantly. And after all, what's the goal of education? It's very important to build good human beings. If we can understand the ethos and the pain in a person, then we are a successful human being. What defines success? This is really thought provoking. I think this is something St. John's High School, Chandigarh, is leading really in this perspective.
Thank you.
Last, one of the striking facets which you have put up across, that one of your biggest accomplishment, that you have fought against injustice all through. So at one extreme it is compassion in action, and at the other extreme you have been a fighter fighting injustices.
True.
So tell us more about this sprawling 25 years of fighting with injustice. One we can see is fighting the fear which gets into the tender hearts of the kids in terms of various aberrations which happen in a kind of a grid. I would say you are good, you are bad, you cannot do anything about that. So one thing we can see that fearlessness is something which you have propounded. What else?
I think at the heart of it is to believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
To have that sense of, I trust my God to see me through, provided I try and follow the right path.
Mm-hmm.
I should look inside and examine myself and say, am I right in what I'm doing? And if I'm right, then I need to keep walking forward, even if it means opposition, it means facing injustice, it means facing a lot of pressures, and that has happened along the way. We even had to go to court over certain issues, but God has been good and we have seen our way through it. We have emerged happier, we emerged successful, and our children have seen us do this. So they believe in us. They have confidence in us that, yes, if you could do it, so can we. I've never hidden things from my children, neither my own kids or my school kids. So, we have brought them up with a lot of prayer. And we've seen miracles happen. We've had a little boy who had got an infection of the brain, and he was admitted in the ICU, and he actually died twice. Okay, they had to revive him. Now again, he was facing this problem, and the parents called me up and said he's going. And I said, wait. So I ran, and we were having assembly, and I got onto the mic and I said, God hears children. He loves children. Okay, he listens to your prayer. Let's pray for our son. And we all prayed with all our hearts. And truly, I am not exaggerating. An hour later, the parents came and told us that not only was he out of danger, he was out of the ICU. And they could not believe it. They said, how did this happen? And I said, because God loves children and he answers their prayers. And it's happened more than once. So that sense of, prayer is that you can always turn to God, right? When you are struggling, when you're desperate, when you have no other avenue, there is God. So that spirituality gives them an amazing strength to our children, as well as a belief in their own self-worth. I never let them compete against others. I say you compete against yourself. God has made you uniquely and wonderfully. Your fingerprints no one else has. So why are you competing against somebody else? Look at yourself. Can you do better? That's all. When they come to me and they say, Ma'am, I got this much. I said, okay, son, that's brilliant. I'm so proud of you. Now tell me, could you have done better? And he says, yes. I said, okay, let's try for it. Next time, come and tell me how you did. And listen, if you don't make it, it's not the end of the world. That's important also for children to know, right? That you can try, but sometimes you're going to fail. But it's a learning curve. So I think this sense of self-worth, self-dignity, and spirituality combined with compassion is what defines our boys. And I think really sets them apart. But I'm prejudiced on that.
I think this is a fabulous triad to win over the new normal, which people are in some quarters are scared of. But I think the triad of faith in self, fearlessness for the unseen, and finally the compassion. I think these are the driving values probably at St. John's, and which you are personally leading forward. Just a few words as to how you see the entire schooling system coming forward, the re-engineering which COVID-19 has actually accentuated. How do you envisage the educational ecosystem, the educational engagement going forward? This was more of a crisis, a kind of a quick fixes, but now we have to strategize and plan for the future so that things really take on a normal trend.
Well, we are already working very hard. We've brought in, protocols from abroad. We've looked at our schools. That way we are fortunate. We have our schools abroad, so we've asked them to send us up their protocols. We've been looking at the protocols in place in our own country, and we've been trying to do a mix and match to ensure the greatest level of safety for our children. That's primary. Right. So we have worked already on a full protocol, which is going to be put into place as and when schools reopen, and to ensure that every child is safe. So, and you have to look at many factors when you work with children. I think primary, of course, is safety, but after that is letting them know that once again, don't be scared. Life has to go on. And at the same time, ensuring. I was saying the other day, we have to learn a new language of love. When our kids come to school, we are so used to hugging them. When you're passing, you'll touch a child on the shoulder, you'll ruffle his hair. And they come and, in the Punjab area, we have this, the pranam, which is very common. So, our children are very happy about coming and seeking blessings. Now, we can't do all that because that means proximity. So we have to learn whole new language. I was unhappy if his face has a mask on it and I can only see his eyes. How do I, through my body language, be able to tell a child, I love you. You are important to me, right? As a person. It's not only your academics. I need to know you're happy. So he's got to see that in my body language. He's got to see it in my voice. He's got to hear it, and he's got to see it in every action of mine, because I've also got a mask on. Right? So now it's eye-to-eye contact and body language. So that's a whole new scenario for us, which we are developing and working on. Right? In our school, when kids come in, when the teacher walks into class, the first thing she asks is, how's the Josh? and they have to put up their hands. And if it's 5, it means I'm doing really great. If it's anything less than 5, accordingly, you put up your hands. But what our kids don't know is that our teachers observe, and if any child puts up 1 or 2 fingers, immediately his name goes down to all the teachers.
Lovely.
So that we are watching him to see through the whole day that he is specially looked after, he is given encouragement, he's given special support, and then at the end of the day, he sort of casually approached and said, how are you doing? Are you okay? And usually we get a sunshine smile. So all these are what are going to really come into play now when we bring our children back. There's going to be all the normal procedures, not odd even, but we are trying to split classes so that fewer children come in every day. We have to have, of course, the integrated mixed teaching going on. All that is we've been working on it, and we're hopeful.
Lovely.
Because as I said, we don't give up. We're not going to give up.
So here we had Madam Kavita C. Das, the Honorable Principal of St. John's High School, Chandigarh, coming from the land of Punjab, the land of valor and courage, and the land which has fought several wars for the country, is fighting the war against this COVID virus valiantly with a new language of love, which Madam has demonstrated so very pleasingly. And what strikes about St. John's and Madam Das in particular, her message, the takeaway from her masterclass is the value triad, which is anchored into compassion, the infinite compassion, which extends yourself. In a self-centered society, we are becoming so fast. It's expanding your own frontiers, giving compassion to others. And on the top of the curve is fighting injustice. Because if you have faith in your own self and the larger goodness in the cosmos, you can certainly fight injustices. I think that this was a fabulous masterclass today with these wonderful lessons for life, which Madam Das has given. And she's practicing day in, day out with her 2,000 boys on campus, online, offline, all kind of mechanisms. And
I love my boys.
I know, I love it.
I think each one of them is amazing. I mean, you cannot say a bad word about my kids, okay? I will fight you to the death on that.
I love it.
In fact, I have a PowerPoint which I'll send you about our school.
I will just say adulations and appreciation on this one more point. I love the way you said, son, the position of a mother, the teacher is a mother, the principal is a mother. You are treating the child in the infinite language of love. It gives so much of confidence, so much of trust in the child that I am there. The light of love is there. It just makes him give that sunshine smile. This is really
I'm very proud of the fact that I might not know all their names, but I know every child by face, and every one of them knows me. Because I greet them every morning when they come into school. I'm there, I walk around, I talk to them.
And the foster parenthood which you have devised, I think at your school is certainly an experiment which other schools across the country can emulate, because school teachers are like second mothers. They are parents, foster parents in the right sense.
Second home for the child.
So this
in that, I have to thank my staff as well as the administration, because through this whole time, our teachers have been keeping track of not only their academics and their mental and spiritual stability and emotional stability, but also for their financial stability. So any child whose family has run out of provisions has contacted us, and we have contacted the Chandigarh administration, especially the police. And they have been amazing. They have just gone the same day and delivered a whole lot of provisions to those homes. So not one of our children has gone hungry. Not one.
This opportunity to, I would say, name out the administrators from Chandigarh administration who have really come out with this wonderful service to the public in these troubled times.
Well, we as a school have been dealing directly with the DGP, Mr. Beniwal, who has been, overseeing this and taking a personal interest in this. We also have Dr. Divan, who is in charge of the health services of Chandigarh. We have Mr. Parida, who is our administrator, right? Our advisor to Chandigarh, advisor to the administrator. So these are the top people who have been keeping a very sharp eye on the city and are very, very approachable. In the education department, we have our DSE, Mr. Brar. We have our DEO, Alka ma'am. they are all highly approachable. So there is not a question of if you pick up the phone and call that they will not respond. And if they are busy, they will call back.
So
Now that,
the laurels we hear
yes,
from the Chandigarh administration, because distance-wise we only hear, they are true in
yes,
practice. Yeah.
absolutely. They have taken great care of the city. They have watched over everybody. I don't think there's a person who has appealed for help who has not received it. And in that way, we have been very, very, fortunate in the city. Being a small, very well organized city, Kabusier was a genius. He's internationally recognized. And it's a very green city with a lot of open spaces. But they have handled this crisis so well. And we are eternally grateful to our administration for taking such good care of us and of our children. If it hadn't been for them, my kids are in the red zone, a lot of them, right? My EWS kids are in a local area called Bapu Dham, which is a very crowded area. And we can't get access to them. But thanks to the police and the administration, all provisions have been reaching them. Even our books, which we needed to distribute, we've been able to do it and get the books to the children, get the classes through, everything happening only because there's been such a wonderful relationship with, the administration, the staff. My own staff have been going there directly to the sides, tying up with children. The children have come, they have taken books from there, and it's all been beautifully organized. It takes courage to do that. And my staff has also been excellent about this. They have gone the extra mile. They just said, ma'am, tell us what needs to be done. We'll do it. And they have done it. Hats off to them. They have done it. Our coordinators, brilliant in the way they have just brought the whole school together and worked so hard with all their staff.
So in the foothills of Shivaliks, it's not just the cold, clean breeze, but it's an entire environment of excellence which you people are really leading. And, so Chandigarh is
my accountant on the first salary we had to pay. We were under lockdown all over the city. He walked for more than an hour from his house to school just to be able to send out the salaries. So all our salaries have been going out on time without any cuts at all, even though we have one of the lowest fees in the city. And schools are having a very big problem collecting fees. But we said that, the laborer is worthy of his hire. So that is the saying in the good book. So we say, yes, if you want to appreciate people, you better give them their salaries. And we have made sure, and we pay 7-pay commission, but we have never, ever once said, no, we will not. Our administration has been wonderful about this. Our management of our schools have stood by us on this and said, break fixed deposits if you want, break your savings, but make sure that your staff doesn't suffer, including our great team.
So viewers, here we had Madam Kavita Sidas, the ever compassionate, the fearless, and most importantly, the fighter, principal of St. John's High School, Chandigarh. We would like to end this masterclass. We would be back again on Monday with yet another fascinating educator from one of the lovely cities of this country. Till then, stay tuned. Thanks a lot, Madam, for being with us.
Thank you, Ma'am.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Bless you.